Okay, so artificial intelligence. It feels like it's absolutely everywhere now, right? It's shaping our world so fast.
It really is, especially that generative AI stuff, the kind that writes emails, makes pictures.
Yeah, exactly. These digital minds are becoming part of everything we do. But here's the big question, the one I think we all have.
Right.
How do we actually talk to them? How do we get what we really need from them?
Right. How do we make sure they, get our intention? It's not always as simple as just asking a question.
Well, welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today we are plunging right into AI prompt engineering. It's basically the art, and maybe the science too, of talking effectively to AI.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is kind of your shortcut to understanding this skill, which is pretty critical now. It's about bridging that gap, between what we mean and what the machine understands.
Yeah, getting past just typing a question and hoping for the best. We want impactful results, relevant stuff.
Totally. And for this, we've looked at a whole stack of sources, insights from places like Avius AI, IBM, good old Wikipedia, to get a really rounded view, the theory and the practical side.
It gives a good picture.
So, ready to jump in? Okay, let's unpack this thing.
Let's do it.
So, prompt engineering, at its heart, what are we talking about? Is it just writing instructions?
Fundamentally, yes.
Yeah.
It's the process of structuring or crafting those instructions, the prompts, to get better outputs from a generative AI model.
Okay.
Think of it like teaching a super intelligent student,
Mm-hmm.
but one who's incredibly literal,
Yeah.
needs really clear, precise, well-explained instructions to get the task done right.
Ah, okay. Like you can't just hint at what you want.
Exactly. You're guiding that intelligence. So when we say prompt, it's more than just a quick question, usually.
Right. So what is a prompt then in practice?
Well, it starts with natural language, like text you'd type.
Yeah.
But it could be simple, yeah, like a query, summarize this, or it could be a complex command loaded with context. And for, say, text-to-image AI, you're basically painting with words. A high-quality photo of a cat riding a horse.
Okay. Or a cinematic video of a cat wearing a cape.
And saving the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the detail shapes the output directly.
And I guess it's not like you write the perfect prompt first time, right?
Oh, almost never. It's really an iterative process. You're tweaking the phrasing, choosing specific words, checking grammar, adding context. Sometimes even telling the AI who to be, like giving it a persona.
Yeah.
And just keep refining it, trial and error, until you get exactly what you wanted. High quality, relevant, useful. It's more like tuning an instrument than following a recipe sometimes.
Just nudging things here and there.
Precisely.
What's really hitting me here is how fundamental this skill is. It directly impacts how well these tools we use every day, like ChatGPT, actually work.
Absolutely. It's not some niche tech thing anymore. Prompt engineering is critical if you want to get the most out of generative AI, really in any field.
So what are the big benefits then? Why is it so important?
Well, several key things. First, you get much better results with less fuss afterwards. Good prompts mean less editing later, saving you time and, frankly, frustration.
Right. Getting it closer to right the first time.
Exactly. Second, it gives developers, or even just users, more control. You establish clear intent, clear context. It refines the output and helps prevent, weird or unintended responses. It's like putting up guardrails.
And for us users, that means a better experience, right? Less banging your head against the wall trying different questions.
Definitely. You get coherent, accurate answers faster. It helps the AI understand what you mean, even if you don't type an essay. Makes the tools way more useful.
And for businesses.
Big advantages there too. Flexibility, scalability. You can design prompts that work across different departments or tasks. Domain-neutral prompts. Makes that AI investment go a lot further.
So one well-crafted prompt could be reused in lots of ways.
Potentially, yes. Think about a prompt designed to spot inefficiencies. You could maybe apply that logic to sales data, then logistics data, then support tickets.
Okay, I see. And ultimately, it's bridging that human-AI communication gap you mentioned.
It is. These models use complex transformer architectures, right? Prompt engineering is how we sort of mold or steer the output from that complex system. It translates our fuzzy human requests into something the AI can act on meaningfully.
Makes sense. Now, everyone's heard of ChatGPT. Let's quickly break down that GPT acronym. G is for generative. What makes them truly generative?
The G generative.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real game changer. It's not just sorting info or finding patterns. It's creating new stuff that seems human-like.
Like writing a story from scratch.
Exactly. Or composing music, designing an image it's never seen before. It invents. That's the power we're tapping into, and prompt engineering is how we direct that invention.
Okay. Then P is for pre-trained. What does that mean practically?
Pre-trained means it learned from just a massive amount of text data, mostly from the internet, before we even talked to it. It built up a huge general knowledge of how language works, its patterns, its structures.
Like years of schooling?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It gives it that broad base, that versatility to tackle different topics. It underscores the importance of that training data being, well, good data, ideally.
Mm-hmm. And finally, T for transformer. Sounds technical, but what's the impact for us?
The transformer architecture, that's the T, is what lets these models understand context so well, especially over longer stretches of text or conversation.
Ah, so it remembers what we talked about earlier.
In a way, yes. It can weigh the importance of different words in relation to each other, even far apart in the text. That's how you get those coherent, relevant conversations. It understands nuance much better than older AI models. It's the secret sauce for understanding the flow.
Okay, got it. Generative, pre-trained, transformer. Powerful stuff. But like you said, harnessing it comes back to how we communicate, the prompts.
Exactly.
So let's get into the toolkit. What are some of the main techniques prompt engineers use? I've heard things like zero shot and few shot. What are those?
Right. So zero-shot prompting is the simplest. You just give the AI a task it hasn't specifically seen examples of before, like summarize this article. You're relying purely on its pre-trained knowledge,
Testing its general smarts.
pretty much. Then you have few-shot prompting, sometimes called in-context learning. Here, you give it a couple of examples right in the prompt to show it the pattern or style you want.
Like teaching by example on the spot.
Exactly. You could do, say, French to English,
Okay, so.
Maisel house, chat a cat, and then provide Shein and expect it to reply, dog. It learns the task from those few examples.
Clever. But what if the task needs, like, actual reasoning, not just pattern matching?
For that, chain of thought prompting, or COT, is really powerful. This encourages the AI to break down a problem into steps, kind of like how a person would reason through it.
Showing its work.
Basically, yeah.
Bruh.
For a math problem, instead of just the answer, it might output the steps. Okay, first 23 minus 20 is 3, then 3 plus 6 is 9, so the answer is 9.
And how do you make it do that?
Often, it's surprisingly simple. Just adding a phrase like, let's think step by step, to your prompt can trigger this more detailed, reasoned output. And often, that leads to more accurate results, especially for logic puzzles or calculations.
Fascinating. Forcing it to slow down and think. Are there even fancier techniques?
Oh yeah, it gets quite sophisticated. There's self-refined prompting, where the AI tries to solve something, then it actually critiques its own answer, finds flaws, and tries again. It's like AI peer review, but it's reviewing itself.
Whoa. Okay.
And generated knowledge prompting. Here, the AI first generates some facts or background info it thinks are relevant to your query. Then it uses those self-generated facts to construct the final answer. Can lead to much richer, more informed outputs.
And you mentioned one earlier, retrieval augmented generation array for tackling hallucinations.
Right? RA is huge for accuracy. The AI doesn't just rely on its initial training data. Before answering, it retrieves fresh information from external, up-to-date databases.
So it can pull in today's news, for example.
Exactly. Or specific technical documents, company knowledge bases, whatever it's connected to. It grounds the AI's answer in current, verifiable facts, dramatically reducing the chance it just makes stuff up.
That seems incredibly useful. And then the really meta one, AI creating prompts for other AI.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You can use one sophisticated language model to experiment and generate optimized prompts for another model, fine-tuning the instructions automatically based on the results. AI helping AI communicate better.
Okay, so there's a whole box of tools. But beyond specific techniques, are there general rules of thumb, best practices?
Definitely. And the big one is just embracing that iterative process we talked about. It is trial and error. Expect to refine your prompts. There's rarely a single magic formula.
Experimentation is key.
Absolutely. But some principles help guide that experimentation. First, be unambiguous. Be as clear as possible about what you want. Avoid vague language.
Don't make it guess.
Right. Second, provide adequate context and specify output requirements. Give it the background it needs and tell it the format you want: a list, a table, a poem, whatever. Like, give me a list of 90s sci-fi movies in a table format with columns for director and year.
Specificity helps.
Immensely. And third, find the right balance between simplicity and complexity. Too simple or vague, you'll get a vague answer. Too complex and convoluted, you might just confuse the poor AI.
Makes sense. Finding that sweet spot. Now, with all this complexity, the role of the prompt engineer has emerged. What do they actually do? Are they just expert typists?
Huh, definitely not just typists. They're more like strategists or architects. They design, test, and refine these prompts systematically. Their job is really to bridge the gap between what the technology can do and what a business or user needs it to do.
Okay, so what kind of skills do you need for that?
It's quite a mix. You need to be familiar with different large language models, obviously. Strong communication skills are vital. You have to articulate goals clearly in the prompts. Being able to explain technical stuff helps too.
Technical skills like coding.
Yeah, programming, especially Python, is often useful for interacting with AI APIs and building more complex workflows.
Yeah.
But it's also about creativity, finding novel ways to phrase things, a deep grasp of language, nuance, context that's huge. And often, knowing the specific domain like medicine or finance or customer service is really important.
That domain knowledge makes a big difference.
It really does. Situated expertise, knowing the context of the field, helps you craft much more effective prompts.
It's one thing to talk theory, but let's see this in action. How does sophisticated prompt engineering actually play out in a real-world system?
Okay, yeah. Let's take an example like advanced conversational AI for customer service.
Hmm.
Imagine a system that needs to handle hundreds, maybe thousands of calls at once.
Yeah.
That needs serious engineering.
Like the stuff Avius AI does with their agentic AI.
Exactly. They talk about agentic AI voice technology that goes beyond just following a script. It aims to understand the human context of the call.
Agentic,
Yeah.
meaning it has agency, it can act independently.
Sort of, yeah. It's designed to perceive the situation, reason about the goal, understand the nuances of human conversation, maybe even empathize a bit, and then act to achieve multi-step tasks and learn from it.
Wow. And prompt engineering must be the absolute bedrock for that.
Totally foundational. Think about handling unexpected questions when a customer goes off script. Techniques like maybe tree of thought prompting could allow the AI to explore different conversational paths to get back on track. Or self-refine could help it recover from a misunderstanding.
Okay. And for something like qualifying leads automatically.
You could use chain of thought prompting to guide the AI through a logical sequence. Ask this, evaluate the answer, then ask the next relevant question based on that answer following complex business rules, all prompted.
It's making decisions based on the prompt structure.
Right. And the impact is huge. Scalability, handling tons of calls 24/7, consistency, always following the best practice, cost savings, productivity boosts. Avius mentions things like a 60% productivity increase, 17x cost reduction. That comes from automating complex interactions effectively, which relies on brilliant prompt engineering.
That's really concrete. But despite this potential, I saw a concerning stat. Something like 30% of Gen AI projects might get abandoned. Why would that happen?
Yeah, that's a worry. And it connects to this idea of superficial generalists or maybe overconfident novices, people who've learned the basics, maybe done a few cool demos, and think they know it all.
But they lack the deep understanding.
Exactly. They might grasp the surface level, but miss the complexities, the nuances, the integration challenges. This can lead to disappointing results, projects that don't deliver real value, or what some people are calling AI slop, low quality AI output cluttering things up.
So it's different from real expertise.
Very different. True experts tend to see the bigger picture, appreciate the difficulties, and crucially, integrate that domain knowledge we talked about. It's technical skill plus context plus strategic thinking.
You mentioned before this idea of AI layers in action, using the OSI model for networks as an analogy. Can you unpack that a bit? How does that help us see beyond basic prompting?
Right, the OSI model analogy helps visualize that AI interaction isn't just one flat thing. There are layers. Most people, maybe the superficial generalists, operate at the engineering prompt layer. That's crafting the main instruction. It's essential, but it's often just the start.
Okay, so what's deeper?
Well, you have layers like the meta prompt. This is where you're designing prompts that manage other prompts, like creating a template for generating good prompts for math problems rather than just writing one math prompt. It's a higher level of abstraction.
Thinking about the prompting process itself.
Exactly. Then there's prompt chaining, breaking a complex task down where the output of AI step 1 becomes the input for AI step 2, and so on, creating a workflow.
Ah, like an assembly line.
Kind of. And negative prompting is another interesting one, explicitly telling the AI what not to include. Generate a landscape picture, but no buildings, no cars, no people. It's about constraints.
Steering it away from unwanted stuff.
Precisely. And then maybe the deepest layer in this context is prompt fine-tuning. This is a key difference.
How so?
Because here, you're not just changing the input, the prompt, you're actually modifying the AI model itself. You continue its training, but on a very specific, targeted data set, to make it an expert in a narrow domain.
Re-educating the AI for a specific job.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It takes more effort, more data, but can yield incredibly specialized and accurate performance. It shows the depth beyond just talking to the AI. It's about shaping the AI itself.
Looking at these layers, it really highlights the difference between surface-level interaction and genuine, deep understanding needed for complex applications.
It really does. And it raises questions about responsibility, doesn't it? About needing that deeper expertise, especially as AI becomes more powerful and integrated. There's a lot more going on than just typing a question.
Definitely. And even with expertise, there are challenges, right? Prompt engineering isn't always straightforward.
No, it's not. One big challenge is the volatility. Tiny changes in a prompt, a single word, even punctuation sometimes can lead to wildly different results. What works perfectly for one model might fail on another, or even on the next version of the same model.
So best practices are kind of fluid.
Very fluid,
Yeah.
often model-specific. Constant testing and adaptation are just part of the game. And there's security concerns too, like prompt injection attacks, where people try to trick the AI into ignoring its safety rules or revealing sensitive information.
Yeah, that's a whole other area. And what about the future of the prompt engineer role itself? Will we still need them if AI gets better at understanding us?
That's a hot topic. Some argue the role might shrink as AI becomes more intuitive. But I tend to think as AI systems get more complex and integrated into critical business processes, the need for people who deeply understand how to design, orchestrate, and optimize those interactions will actually grow.
Maybe the job title changes.
Maybe it evolves. AI interaction designer, AI experience architect, something like that. But the core skill of bridging human intent and complex AI capabilities, I think that remains crucial.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground. AI, prompt engineering, it's clearly this intricate blend of art and science.
Absolutely. It's fundamental for guiding these powerful generative models to give us outputs that are actually useful, accurate, and relevant.
And it involves this whole toolkit, zero shot, few shot, chain of thought, REG, all these techniques, plus adhering to best practices like clarity, context, and that constant cycle of iteration.
Trial and error, always.
And we saw how companies using things like agentic AI really demonstrate the power of well-engineered prompts to transform how businesses operate, especially in areas like customer service.
It brings the theory to life, showing the tangible benefits.
So the final thought to leave you with. The future of AI isn't just about building smarter models. It's equally about us learning how to communicate with them effectively, how to guide them responsibly, how to unlock their potential without creating more noise.
Which really leads to a question for you listening right now. As AI gets woven deeper into your life, your work, how will your understanding of speaking to machines need to evolve? Will you scratch the surface, or will you aim for that deeper interaction?
Something to think about. If you are curious to see some of this advanced AI in action, companies like Avius AI do offer demos. You can usually find info on their websites like aviusai.com. Maybe see how that agentic AI handles a call.
Seeing it firsthand can be quite eye-opening.
Definitely. So what does this all mean? It means the conversation around AI is really just getting started, and hopefully after this deep dive, you're feeling better equipped to be a meaningful part of it.